is they're cut off from their families and they have no access to future resources. And so I want to like sort of say goodbye by saying like the biggest thing that we can do as harm reduction is working on ending the stigma around it that keeps people from being able to like, because it should be that a girl can go do 6 scenes for 6 months and then like go fucking back to school and go get, you know what I mean? Like it should be like something where someone, and everyone knows someone that has done sex work. Just because she didn't tell you about the summer she spent camming, like pretty much everyone, you know, someone intimately that has done sex work, and they're, you know what I mean? And it's like to keep in mind that this is everybody. It's not, sex workers are all around you. You know, sex work isn't necessarily being out on the street corner. There's all forms of sex work. And so one, understanding that this is your neighbor you're talking about. And that two, it's that stigma. It's like porn ruins people. No, the stigma becomes unbearable for people. That's why they turn to drugs. That's why they turn to this stuff, you know? So that's kind of, it's like the biggest thing is to get rid of that stigma, because that's what allows men like that to operate in the dark.
By the way,
yes,
don't worry about your car at the meter. If I'm going to walk you out of here, if you got a ticket, I'm going to upload you I'm going to pay it for you right away, because I want to finish this show. So relax, don't worry about
all right.
it. I mean, Stormy Daniels, her lawyer Avenatti, that guy's a rock star. Have you seen him on TV?
Mm-mm.
Oh, well.
To be honest, I haven't really kept up on any of it.
It's all right, but I was going to say, where's Gloria Allred in all this? She's doing her best to put serial killer Bill Cosby away. So, did I say serial killer? Serial rapist killer. What's the difference?
Isn't he arguing now that because he's blind and he he literally can't like physically see his accusers, he therefore like he's oh my gosh, it's crazy. Mesereau,
this guy successfully represented Michael Jackson. He'll do a good job. But anyway, let me just say that Stormy Daniels, in my mind, is a woman who may play a key role in bringing down a standing president. I mean, did you ever think that an icon of that sort would emerge out of the sideline career that you slipped into as part of your life story?
I mean, I'm constantly, I would say that for me, even when I came in 5 years ago, the term sex worker was something that porn stars wouldn't even like apply to themselves. And in this like 5 to 7 years since I've been in, like the whole language around sex, like it has really changed, and the kind of girls that come in. So, I mean, I'm not surprised now, like because it really has. I mean, people have been saying porn's mainstream for a long time, but it is truly mainstream now. When you've got Stormy Daniels on 60 Minutes,
yeah, boom.
And like it is truly mainstream now.
You're in the gray zone. I'm talking to Sovereign Syre and Dr. Dave.
The silent partner. Do you
Help
talk normally?
Out.
Here and there.
Okay.
I like to let it is Mark's show. So, I take a back seat every once in a while, pipe in.
Help us out, Dave. Let's hear something from another David while we take a breath in the gray zone.
40 ounces of malt liquor make me want to taste something. Say, rolling around, sitting on doves. Can't lie, I was high on shrubs. Cooling in my Escalade. Man, I'm paid, I got it made. Take me to your special place. Close your eyes, show me your face. I'm gonna piss on it. Others wanna love, I don't even want none of the above. I want to piss on you. Yes, I do. I'll piss on you. I'll pee on you.
Yeah, we'd like to thank Comedy Central for that little clip from the Dave Chappelle show. And Sovereign, it's starting to look like Trump's piss tape might be real.
I believe it's real.
Special Prosecutor Mueller. He's in possession of evidence that Trump's personal enforcer, Michael Cohen, was in Prague trying to clean that mess up. Mm-hmm. The little piss party he had with Russian hookers at the Ritz-Carlton in Moscow. Well, he's trying to bury that. I guess he's really not a germaphobe as he plays on TV,
but I mean, wasn't the dossier? Didn't the dossier said that he hired the girls to piss on each other on the same bed that Obama slept in? And I believe it because I feel like just like Donald Trump sort of coming down that escalator to announce his presidency, like he's like petty boots. He is so fucking petty, petty boots. And so I absolutely, I believed it from the start, because I was like, that sounds like something Donald Trump would do. Just like, he's just petty. Like, oh, Obama slept in this bed. Let me hire these hookers and like have him do that. And again, that's the story that made me like him, because I was like, that sounds like he paid 2 sex workers. And like 2 women got paid that night, and they got paid just to piss, and that makes me happy. I love when women get paid to piss or shit.
Oh, I wonder how many...
like when women are paid to do just basic shit like that.
Right.
Oh, I love it. Like my favorite kind of rap song is like when a guy's just describing ways in which he'd like his girlfriend to spend his money. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh my God.
All right, but water sports, scat porn, Sovereign. How does the degradation aspect of that play in the mind of, or square with the agenda of a feminist porn star?
Well, I think that in that particular instance, he was having them pee on the bed to mock Obama, not to degrade them.
Yeah, but I still think, I suspect that his affinity for it...
Have you ever met a Russian hooker?
Yeah, in fact, I have.
You can't degrade her.
Right, okay.
Like, sentimental value, I've heard of that. Like, I mean, that's like... Those women are like made of fucking iron. They're like cast iron. Like, she was just going like, good, get paid. Like, there wasn't a moment that girl felt degraded. She was like, look at this stupid Trump.
No
Look
bruises.
Look him paying me so much money.
Right.
Peace.
Well, thanks for pointing out his abject stupidity. But I still suspect that Trump's affinity for, that sort of thing, the water sports and the scat porn or whatever else he was into, it's reflective of his attitude towards women that he expresses every time he opens his mouth. Quote, women, you have to treat them like shit. I
think there's some truth to that. But
I mean, I
think he was saying that in regards to courtship, and I think, like, I'm not a fan of kind of lambasting him for stuff where it's like, I think he was saying that in the context of romantic relationships, and in that sense he was being crude. But I think it's like that's just repeating like a philosophy that most people know, which is girls like the bad guy. But I mean, I don't think he respects women, but I think that he, but at the same time, he like here's where it gets tricky, because if you look at his cabinet, he also has employed a lot of very visible women, probably more than any president I can remember. So, I mean, there's this part of me that's like, well, I mean, they are conservative, so it's horrible.
Right, but those women are the women that...
But he does use them as human shields as
well.
They
make excuses for that Ponzi guy to just, it's these boomer women. These are women of my generation that are making excuses for him. And I hope they become extinct. No, I really do. Sovereign, is there a way to get through to these women, or are they just covering for their right-wing fundamentalist porn-loving husbands? I don't get it.
I think it comes down to my ex-girlfriend's black, and we would talk about this a lot, about older white women, and I think the conclusion that we came to is that older white women still think there's a chance that they can win in the system as it's currently in place. Like, they think that they can be Melania someday, maybe. Mm. Do you know what I mean? Mm. And so it's like, as long as they think that there's a chance, it's like a gambler at a casino. As long as they think there's a chance they might win as the current system stands, they're willing to kind of play along. Whereas black women especially, but as you're seeing with the Black Lives Matter movement and stuff, is like that marginalized groups kind of know the score. Like, they know that they're never going to win in the current system. And so they're more willing to tell the system to fuck off and to advocate for like overturning the status quo. Whereas, older white women are kind of like, well, there's still a chance I can come out on top in this current scenario. And so they're more willing to cling to this kind of like daddy savior kind of, and I think it is generational, this belief that,
it sure is. Do you think Melania might be a former sex worker? I do.
I mean,
Former?
Well, no, I mean, I do. I believe that in the 90s.
I know people that claim to have done doubles with her.
Sure.
I mean, I'm not saying that she did. I'm saying I know people that claim that they did doubles with her, and I know someone else that didn't know these people that claims that he is absolutely certain that at a bachelor party they had hired these escorts and that she was absolutely one of them. He's a very, very wealthy friend, but it's like totally like not part of the girls that I know that do privates that told me like, no, like back in the 90s, I did a double with her. It was absolutely.
Well, I would look to. I think her name's Victoria Silverstedt. She was a playmate. Big time Silstead, yeah,
from Sweden.
Yes.
She was a favorite.
She was allegedly Melania's roommate in Paris.
Okay.
And you talk about doing doubles, whatever the terminology is. All I know is I would like to check their flight itinerary from Paris to Cannes and find out if they really were yacht girls, I like to call them, because that's what they did. They went out to the yachts and they serviced Saudi royalty. And as you well know from your one-time personal experience, you get paid really, really well on those gigs. So I believe it too. I think that, I think this kind of, especially this sort of moralizing is just not, in Europe, it's not the same. You know what I mean? Well,
this kind of
Melania Trump, whatever, she was a fucking birther. She was with the original birther, so fuck her for that. I don't care what she did before that. Linda Lovelace ran for president. Any chance we'll see sex workers rising up literally in the political arena as viable candidates?
Yes, I think
something to think about.
I think it's inevitable at this point.
Sovereign Syre, you get my vote, and I thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Listen, find out more about Sovereign Syre at sovereignsyre.net. You can follow her on Twitter at Sovereign Syre. That's SOVER.
EIGNSYRE.
And Sovereign, what else can you share about what you're doing, what to look for? Where will you be between now and your next great adventure?
I'm working on a TV pilot that's already got a tentative kind of go. So, yeah.
Well, we wish you the best.
I'm writing. I'm stand up. Like I said, I just got done featuring for Mark Maron, which has been kind of crazy. So stand up's going. I'm doing stand up all the time. I'm always updating my shows on my website. So that's
you got a show coming up at Flappers.
I have one tonight at Flappers, so no one's going to be there. But then I have another one in April at the Dime Bar. So that's all. If you go to my site, like the shows are listed. And then I'm like working on some writing stuff, and I have a Patreon. If they want to, patreon.com/Sovereign Syre. If they want to support, I have a podcast, Observations with Sovereign Syre. I just had Maitland Ward on, who's a former child star that's now this huge cosplay sex symbol, and is making for like an insane amount of money on Patreon. It's unbelievable. Wow. So I had her on to talk about being a child star and then becoming like sort of a sex symbol. So yeah, there's a podcast they can listen to, and iTunes, Spotify, anywhere you can find podcasts.
And listen, I hope you'll join us again here sometime soon
anytime.
In the Gray Zone. Okay, I want to thank my podcast facilitator for the excellent cover story. Where is that? Hang on. Got it right here. You see this? This is something that makes your parents proud.
Oh, wow.
Cover story on the
great.
Pasadena Weekly.
Nice.
Carl Kozlowski, he wrote the story, did a great job. You can find it in those little red boxes dotting the San Gabriel Valley, and online at PasadenaWeekly.com. The story is titled Crime on His Mind. And check this out. In the print version, it seems like the Pasadena Weekly has a little section for sensual massage, featuring ravishing redhead, Thai lady massage in Alhambra, and we have a topless hairstylist, among others, willing to cater to your desires for money. I wonder if they take PayPal. I do.
I know a lot take Square Cash now.
Square Cash?
Yeah, because
you got to try it
because you can just put the thing on your phone and you can run credit cards.
So don't forget to do your part. Like our newest executive producer, Joseph Fortune, originally from Providence, Rhode Island, and he made this show happen. And send me some loot to keep this show going. MarkEbner59@gmail.com on PayPal and Venmo, or become a subscriber on Patreon. Most importantly, tell a friend about the show. I shall yak at you next week from the Gray Zone.